Hey y'all, it's the OG. What's happening? This one is called When Everything is Cool, Don't Be No Fool. Don't be no fool. All right. Excuse me, I have to put down my customary and obligatory OG toothpick. The true OGs among us will understand that. So, what do I mean by that? So, everything is going really well on the job. You are warm and fuzzy, and you've been cozying up to the boss, and she gave you sugar at the Christmas party and told you you're doing such a good job, and you get all giggly and everything, just everything, right? You feeling all good. You ain't worried because hey, oh, we love you, we love our people, and everything is we're just gonna be here together for life, and everybody putting an arm around you, talking about what a great job you did. You can go golfing with them. Everything is just lovely until you get that tap on the shoulder, right? So let me help you get ready for what you should be doing today when everything's going perfect. Because let me tell you something, I've learned this from personal experience. Complacency is your worst enemy. When we're not challenged, we have no reason to stretch out and get better, to build new skills, to improve, to grow, to adapt. When everything is comfortable, why would you, right? Well, that's the time to go ahead and start building relationships outside your normal sphere of influence, right? What do I mean by that? Well, you got your circle of folks that you work with, you got your circle of folks that you may have known at previous jobs, but how do you expand that circle? And the best time to do that was everything is going well. That's the best time to start expanding your circle. So here's what I recommend. We all know about LinkedIn. Everybody knows that, right? Well, if you know how to use LinkedIn well, LinkedIn can really be a gold mine. If you think about it, it's really a search engine for employers and employees to find each other, right? At its root, that's what LinkedIn really is. And when you understand that, it really helps you to create relationships. Think about places you would like to work. Think about industries you would like to work in. Think about companies you would like to work at. Start finding recruiters and people at those companies in those industries who are doing what you would like to do, or someone who you might consider to be a peer in terms of title and that type of thing. Start reaching out to recruiters and send over connection requests. 99 times out of 100, when I send a connection request, recruiters accept it very, very quickly. Rarely do they not accept it because they want to have a big network. That's their job. That's how they stay employed, is by having the largest network possible. Start creating those relationships with those folks now. When everything's all warm and fuzzy, the bosses gave you sugar. Your other boss said they're going to take you golfing. It's just wonderful. Everything is just lovely. That's the time to get ready. Okay. So if you start reaching out and creating these relationships now, you'll have the relationships when you need them. Create the relationships long before you ever need them. Offer that person something of value, right? Whether it's a tip, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's a white paper you wrote, maybe it's a new GPT that you created that you can share with people. And then that law of reciprocity comes into play where because you share something of value with someone, they just feel obliged to share something of value with you. Say you want to go work at a big company like, I'm just making this up, Home Depot, Coca-Cola, something like that. Start reaching out to recruiters there. Start reaching out to people who are in jobs that you might be interested in and ask them if they would mind sharing some insights into their organization, into what they do. After you've already created a connection request, maybe send a few chats back and forth, thanking them for connecting with you, offering them something of value in advance, right? Now, when you get out into that job market and you really need a job, you have this expanded network of folks that you created or started creating several years ago when everything was all warm and fuzzy. Okay. And so if you think about the fact that LinkedIn is a search engine where people will start searching for folks in your role or with your title or the title you aspire to be, hopefully you start popping up in those results. And in further videos, we'll talk about how you can make yourself a little more visible in those results. But the main thing I want y'all to think about is when you make a post on LinkedIn or make a comment on one of the big influencers' posts, it puts your post up there in front of all those recruiters you've been creating relationships with. So now these recruiters will have you top of mind when they have a role that they need for something that might fit with your skill set or your background. Because every time you make a post, you keep popping up in their feed. And so they're looking at, hey, here's this OG guy again, again, and again, and again. And they see you making posts of value, all right? So that they know, okay, yeah, this guy, he's been on my feed a lot. Let me reach out to him and see what he's doing, see if he might be interested in this. So think about every post you make on LinkedIn. Think of your post as an asset, okay? Each post you send out goes out to your network and then the other networks connected to your main network. So be thinking about what posts can I make that when someone replies to it or responds to it, their network's going to see it, right? And so it helps you really become the force multiplier. And every post you make pops you on those folks' feeds again, so that you're going to now be top of mind when they think about a role they need to be filled. Those are your gold mine, right? And then LinkedIn, the algorithm in LinkedIn actually begins to look at what are the most active accounts, okay? So you may have project manager A compared to project manager B. Project manager A makes one post a year. Project manager B makes a post a week, maybe two posts a week, right? Several posts a week, okay? They're very, very active. So when a search goes out for those project managers, all things being equal, project manager B is going to pop up a little bit higher in those search results, right? Because it's a more active account, because each of your posts are assets. So that's just a little bit of a primer on how you can really start getting yourself ready. Reach out to recruiters today when everything's well. Start making connections with potential hiring managers or peers in industries or companies you might be interested in. Start making those connections today. You may not get laid off for years, but God forbid if you do, now you've got this expanded network that knows you. And more importantly, they know, like, and trust you. All right. So, as usual, if I haven't said it, I should have said it earlier. Please just go ahead and gently mash that subscribe button somewhere, smash it. Give that thing some love. All right. Bye.